y'all, welcome back to the Nothing Notable podcast. Today we're reviewing Space Jam: A New Legacy, the sequel to Space Jam. It was written by a lot of people, directed by Malcolm D. Lee, stars LeBron James and Don Cheadle. Let's just jump into this, guys. It's going to be a 10-minute podcast, and I'm going to start the timer now.
Hell yeah, dog. Space Jam: A New Legacy, was it good? No. Did I have a good time watching it? In a way, just because I was laughing at it the whole time, not necessarily with it. I watched it with my brother. He said a couple very funny things during it. Yeah. Was
he
it great?
Should be on this
no.
podcast.
He probably should be on this podcast. He's not home right now, though. Let's go get him.
Dang it. I'll do my quick thoughts on it. Yeah, it's a bad movie. It reminded me of a movie that I absolutely hate, Ready Player One, which is by the same studio, and it's just showing off look how much IP we have. There's a Casablanca world. What? That's crazy. What? Who is that for? This is a kids movie, but who is that? I know what Casablanca is. A bunch of film buffs know what Casablanca is, but little Timmy that plays basketball in a rec league doesn't know what the Casablanca is. Yeah, I don't know. It's just makes me real. Again, it's a big studio movie. What can I say? I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, I hope people get something out of it. If I may monologue for a moment.
You only got 10 minutes.
I know, but this movie really bummed me out. I do not believe in a utopian future, but I believe in the pursuit of a utopian future.
Oh, God.
Okay? That's how deep we're going to go here for a second. I think
you got to bump up the timer to 15 minutes.
I think it's a noble
now.
pursuit to pursue utopia, but I'm not sure if it's totally achievable. But we should always strive to make the world a better place. And I believe in the power of art and cinema, okay? I think it's transformative. It could change the way people think and talk and act. So when a movie disrespects the art form in the way that this movie did, I get really upset. And so I watched this movie and I was completely disgusted. I think that this is an absolutely disgusting movie. It's essentially functions as a commercial for Warner Media and for HBO Max. I have no issue with the company itself, but the fact that it just denigrates film by making it into a complete commercial, completely robbing it of any sincerity, any heart, anything. I was just sitting here feeling unclean the entire time. I really hated this movie. And I hope, let me say this, to everyone that made this film, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope that you can continue to make movies because I want to make movies as well. So nothing to say negative towards you. But this movie as a product, as a commercial, I was disgusted by and I hate it.
Shit, no heart? You didn't see that scene where LeBron put his arm around his son?
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of covered everything that makes this movie bad. Again, it's just a big old commercial for Warner Media, and I think that's a problem with media nowadays. That we were talking about that a little bit with NBC Universal and whatnot, with how hard they have been marketing Peacock and stuff like that, where it's just all they're trying to do is make money with the IP they have, and Space Jam 2 does that as well, because it's not again, it's a story about it's a bare bones story, but most of the action in it is look at all this IP we have. It's Superman, it's weird Halloween costumed people in the background of the game, insane. Here's Mad Max Fury Road, and it's don't put LeBron James and Bugs Bunny in that movie that I love so much. Don't do that to something that I think has a lot of artistic integrity and a lot of heart.
And this movie has none. But I want to get fun because it is I didn't find it entertaining, but I'm sure for some kids out there it'll be as entertaining as I found the original Space Jam to be. So there are things worth talking about. Let me just tackle the Halloween costumes real quick. The way that the Halloween costumed actors in the background are acting during the basketball game is like the fans in a sports video game. They react the same way to a home run as they would to a ground out. It's what are you doing?
Every play, they're yeah!
Exactly. They're all just... Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say that was the fucking funniest part of the movie for me, though?
Yeah.
I was like watching the extras the whole time instead of like what was actually going on. And I'm like, this is kind of funny to watch because it's clear that they had little direction and were just doing the best they could.
And that's what that actually is a huge thing, is that the fact that they had this whole cast, this whole group of extras that were like characters from other movies in the background of the big final game was such a distraction. I was more focused on that than I was on the heart of the story, which is on the court there. So like,
Yeah.
Well, let me
another perplexing
Let me
choice.
tell you about what took place on the court there. I think once and for all, we can say that LeBron James is not greater than Michael Jordan. I got some stats for you. All right?
Yes, here we go.
When the fate of the universe was on the line, all right? First of all, I want Iguodala,
I want
not
Iguodala.
LeBron James. I want Iguodala. Second of all, 25 years ago, when Michael Jordan had this moment here, when he was in the same situation, he shot 22 of 22. Insane efficiency. Came back at the end of the game. In this situation,
Elongated his arm.
He elongated his arm. I didn't see LeBron do that. LeBron needed help from performance enhancers in this game. LeBron in this game shot a measly 4 of 5. His teammates were doing all the work. He didn't do diddly shit. It was all the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote going out there scoring like 500 points in 2 minutes. LeBron's a fraud. He needs to be carried to win a championship.
This was the cast that he needed on the 2000 whenever Cavaliers. And oh man, that's a great. I like that's fantastic. The game itself was like so long. It felt like it was half of the movie, and it went on to.
It started an hour into the film.
So there you go. It
One
was
thing
like
I
literally
loved
half the movie.
watching the game though is there's this one point where LeBron, I forget who I think he's talking to Taz. He's like, Taz, go do your thing. And my brother looks over at me. He's like, whatever he's about to do is a foul. And that's 100% every single play in the movie.
I thought it was weird that they decided to go with like the style points aspect as opposed to like actual basketball. Like I get the idea there because it's supposed to be like Dom's game instead of LeBron's game, and he has to adapt to that. But like I just found it to be a bizarre choice. And then at the end of the game, they kind of just went back to like regular baskets, counting for regular points. Like they were down by 1 and then they score the final basket, and they don't get like a million style points for that. They just get like 2 points. I thought that was silly. The whole movie is silly.
Because it was kind of, it was kind of, it would have gotten a lot of style points because it was like his son, like they would have gotten style points when his son switched teams halfway through the game.
True.
You know what I mean? Because like that's pretty cool, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I like the general idea of like having a different, like having the Looney Tunes play in not basketball, because in the original Space Jam, first of all, this series is so fucking weird. Can we just like talk about that for a second?
Sure, yeah.
Like who came up with the idea to have like the Looney Tunes play basketball with whoever's the biggest star at the time? Like it's weird that it's a franchise, and it's weird that like we're just normally talking about it. Like it's just a weird thing that's going on. But I also kind of like the idea of like them playing like a game that's kind of like basketball, but it's like a video game version of it, but they didn't do much with it.
Speaking of that, though, I think it's actually kind of weirder. I mean, the idea of it as a franchise is weird, but what's weirder is, since it is a franchise, that they never ventured into other sports to do the same thing. Like, why didn't they do like a version of this with baseball and with football and with various other sports?
I may be 100% wrong, but I think they were thinking about doing it.
Oh,
I feel like I read something about that recently, that like back in the 90s they were thinking about it, but ended up not doing it. I could be 100% wrong, though.
Probably just bad timing with baseball because of the steroid situation in like the late 90s. Yeah, and the strike and everything.
Yeah. We got about a minute left. Do we want to pitch any Space Jam-esque games or movies with other cartoons? I think we did this in the baseball thing, but with other cartoons and with other sports, or do we want to talk about Space Jam: New Legacy?
All I want to say on Space Jam before we do pitches is just that I think LeBron James is a good actor. I didn't think he was given much in this movie. I thought, he'll do better next time. And then
I didn't think he was very good at all in this.
No, same. The emotional
depth.
Yeah, emotional stuff was bad, but again, he's a professional athlete, so he definitely could kick my ass in basketball. But also Also, he's great in Trainwreck. I will say. I only saw that movie once, but he was good in it.
Yeah, he was. He's a good actor. He's very charismatic and very talented. And I was kind of disappointed in the performance in this movie. I think this whole movie is not his fault, though. I think that the idea for Space Jam 2 was good, about LeBron being this kind of controlling parent and wanting his son to play basketball, and then having to overcome that and realizing like, oh, you can do something different than I did. That's a good story. And then I think it got completely co-opted with this commercial for HBO Max and for Warner Media. There you go.
That has been a Nothing Notable podcast. We just reviewed Space Jam: A New Legacy. I've been Tyler.
I've been Jack.
And I've been LeBron James.
Check out our stuff. And we just did this podcast to save our son.
Did we do it?
I don't. Don Cheadle's not here, so I think we did save our son. What would our
Do you
sons
think we could beat the Goon Squad in a podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. So let's play by. We're gonna keep this. I don't care. I don't care. That's over 10 minutes. Fine. But okay, so let's go by the Space Jam New Legacy rules. But they take the greatest of podcasters and then they put them up against us. Okay, so who are the five? Who is the starting five of podcasters?
Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan has to be there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Both those guys are short, so I think we're off to a good start.
That is a good start. I've got height on him. Is Mark Maron in there? As
Mark Maron's maybe in
founding
there.
father of podcasting? Sure.
I guess.
Call me.
Who's the other white guy?
The other white guy in podcasting?
Yeah.
It'll be all LA comedians against us.
Yeah, it's a Bobby Lee.
Yeah, it's Bobby Lee.
Oh God, I hate podcasts. Is Ben Shapiro there?
Yeah. We're playing against Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Mark Maron.
Ben Shapiro has a Quicksilver scene, like Damian Lillard did in this one.
Right.
That's crazy.
Basically playing against the intellectual dark web.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bill Simmons.
And Bill Simmons. And Bill can be coached.
Maybe they'd all give each other COVID and then...
Yeah. And then we win and we get our son back.
Then we won, yeah. And then we get our son back.
Hell yeah.
What's our son's name?
I was going to ask the same question.
Ooh, good question.
Kenny?
Kenny?
How about I'm looking at all the books on my bookshelf. That's right, I've got books on my
Little
bookshelf.
Billy?
We've got Nikola.
Nikola Jokic is our son.
Nikola Jokic is our son. Have we sunned anybody in our podcasts? Like the way that Daniel Brunskill sunned Aaron Donald?
I don't think so. We're pretty mellow.
What do you guys mean sunned?
Like, have we made anyone our son?
No, we haven't made anyone our son.
Like, have we owned anybody so hard with a take that they are our son?
Dude, we get like 38 views a video.
Yeah.
No one is our son.
No one yet. But in the future.
Did we say anything in the Fargo podcasts?
Nothing negative. I mean, maybe Jason Schwartzman is our son.
Yeah, maybe Jason Schwartzman is
I like how this whole portion's longer than the Space Jam part.
This is what they came for.
We're gonna have to podcast to save our son.
Dude, I'm just anticipating like one of the 38 people watching this and being like, oh, 10-minute Space Jam pod, 24 minutes long?
Yeah.
Y'all remember when Porky Pig was rapping?
Yeah, I didn't know if I should be offended by that or not. Ultimately,
I was a little offended.
Wait, was that in the film? I think I fell asleep during that part.
Yes.
It wasn't.
It was in the film.
I fell asleep during that part.
And he said, and I quote, "How's your last name Rhythm, but you're still off beat?"
Ooh,
did he get style points for that?
Yeah, he did get style. They got points for rapping.
Well, that's all, folks.
Because, really, Porky Pig is just a humble bodega owner.
Yeah, that's right.
That is Warner Brothers property.
Yeah, why wasn't In the Heights in this movie? Yeah, could you imagine if like a Party City version of Usnavi just was like in the background, like going, whoa, basketball.
Yeah. I'm mad Bill Murray wasn't in this movie or someone like Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, why do you only have Looney Tunes and LeBron James? You should also have like Jesse Plemons in there.
Jesse Plemons.
Well, I'm thinking of like Jungle Cruise. I just saw the trailer for Jungle Cruise when I saw Black Widow in theaters, and he doesn't come in. He only has one part in the trailer, but he comes up in a submarine. He says something in German, and then he blows something up. It's sick.
Isn't he doing like a Klaus Kinski? He's like doing a Klaus Kinski sort of thing.
I love Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, he's sick.
He should have been in Space Jam.
Honestly, like when we're thinking about greatest basketball players that could have been the lead of this movie, why wasn't Jesse Plemons one of the names that, got thrown out there? I
do wish they gave the players more lines.
Yeah, poor Clay. Clay had like one line as a real person. But this Space Jam, you know what this Space Jam doesn't have that the original had? It doesn't have a moment where Charles Barkley is like playing with a group of kids and then bums out, and then the kids are like, man, you aren't Charles Barkley. Like, that never happened in this movie, and that was extremely disappointing.
That is one of the best parts in the original Space Jam, I think.
Him on the chain link fence just being sad is hilarious.
Yeah. Like, and all the basketball players are bad at basketball now. Like, that's so funny. That's pretty good. And then again, he elongates his arm at the end, and it's like, that's so sick. It's like, he became a Looney Tune at the end.
And also, you know what?
Metaphorical, really.
The best part of this movie is when the Looney Tunes are just doing Looney Tune stuff. And like, I was reminded of how much I used to love Looney Tunes, because like, they were actually funny. Like, I still think the bit where Daffy Duck's like, Yosemite Sam, shoot the ball, and then Yosemite Sam shoots the actual ball with a gun. I thought that was so funny. Like, that's so stupid. But like, that and Marvin Martian and like all of his stuff.
Yeah.
There were so many lines from the Looney Tunes where I was like, this is actually really funny, and I just want to be watching a Looney Tunes movie right now.
Also, the concept of Bugs Bunny being alone on like a whole planet, and just he's still doing the stuff that he normally does and trying to get LeBron James to do that, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty good. That's a good concept.
The Space Jam stuff is good.
This movie wasn't as bad as we thought.
I think it was actually a 5 out of 5. I think it was better than Bo Burnham's Inside.
I'll say this. This is no longer a 10-minute pod, which is cool. But I'll say this. I thought that there's... It's my fault, but when they go back into the Casablanca world, I was like, this is almost interesting, because like just pure film analysis, like there's something interesting about retroactively putting a black star into Casablanca. And I was like, this is interesting. And then it's over. And then before I could even finish thinking about how interesting that could be.
And a cartoon rabbit.
And a cartoon rabbit, of course. Yeah.
Interesting.
The thing is, like, can I say something about Space Jam: A New Legacy, actually?
No.
Okay, cool. This is just a podcast not about the movie.
I was going to do it here.
I was going to say, though, I think it's so interesting that we're in an age that if you just have a big enough budget and the right people behind it, the movie is gonna look good no matter what. It's a good looking film. When they put people into other movies, it looks good.
Yes.
Even Don Cheadle as a video game basketball player at the very end of the movie surprisingly looked better than Jeff Bridges in Tron Legacy, which is another Legacy movie, which is interesting.
What was the budget for this movie?
I'll look it up. You guys can chat about something.
Yeah. It's also cool that, like, really, like, if you have enough money behind a project, you could do whatever the hell you want.
That's kind of the theme of these 10-minute pods.
Really, that's what all these movies are. Movies where we're like, oh, these aren't particularly good, but, like, at least they did what they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it had... Any guesses? First.
I honestly, I don't want it to be over 100 million, so I'm just gonna say $99 million.
$147 million and 42 cents.
Jack, you were closest. It's $150 million.
That's so fucking stupid. It makes me so mad.
But my main thing was, I wish there was like a musical number in this, because it's like, why the fuck not? Like, there should have been like a musical land that LeBron James goes to, and then you have LeBron James sing and dance. Like Singing in the Rain universe, Singing in the Rain planet.
That actually brings up an interesting thought. That like LeBron doesn't have to do anything. Bugs just kind of takes him around and assembles the crew. Like LeBron really doesn't have to work so hard to get the group together. It's really Bugs.
And then he gets carried in the basketball game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
also LeBron wanted King Kong on the team.
Yeah, he wanted King Kong. He wanted Iron Giant and his hero Superman and
Batman was on the
list.
Those guys aren't going to be able to guard on switches.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
no
Like
one's
if
gonna
King
be
Kong's
able
on the
to.
team, I'm just putting him in the pick and roll every time.
No one can guard King Kong. Like, how would that work?
Well,
How
he
would
can't
that
shoot
work
free
if
throws,
he was
though.
You can't shoot. You just do hack a Kong.
Hack-a-Kong.
Can't he just like go like this, like over the basket?
Right, but you forget these people can jump really high. Like Anthony Davis turns into a bird.
Right,
They kind of
he is a
clowned
bird.
Anthony Davis in this movie. Like they made him
really
look
did.
really stupid.
And just so I can sleep at night tonight, those were like AI versions of the basketball players. They didn't transform them
Right.
into those creatures.
I think because they did actually transport the human beings that were
Yes.
watching the game, but the players themselves
Yeah.
were just clone
All I'm
version,
trying to say
AI
is the
clone
reason
versions.
Klay Thompson hasn't played for 2 years isn't because he's now dead, because he
Right.
turned into water and fire.
Both of them, water and fire.
Wet fire. Ernie Johnson's a big winner from this one.
Oh, I think Ernie Johnson might be in the running for a couple of Oscars this year, if you ask me.
He was great. There's only a few winners out of this movie, in my opinion. I thought that Ernie Johnson was a winner. The kid who plays LeBron's son is a winner.
Yeah, he was
and-
actually good.
Yeah, I thought he had like actual
Yeah.
chops. Like the movie doesn't make it easy, but like I think he could be a good actor. And then Warner obviously is a big winner, but like other than that, I think everyone's a loser. And Marvin Martian's a winner. Marvin Martian was sick.
That's true.
What did you guys want Space Jam 2 to be? Like before the trailer came out, when it just was announced that LeBron James was going to be the lead of Space Jam 2. Like what did you want out of it?
Fun.
Yeah, I wanted it to be fun too.
Just
I
fun. I
wanted-
didn't expect it to be good because the first Space Jam is bad.
I wanted nothing. I like didn't need another Space Jam. I'm not that into basketball. Didn't need it, but I'm glad if people like Space Jam 1. But like who likes Space Jam 1 like actually?
Yeah, like
again,
sincerely and earnestly.
Who is this
Yeah.
movie made for? Yeah.
Can I pitch you on what I wanted out of this movie, and then we can wrap it?
Sure.
LeBron's whole career has been marked by the whole LeBron versus Jordan thing. And so I thought that this would be an incredible opportunity for LeBron to step into Michael Jordan's world and then like kind of work through the movie, like to very intentionally walk into something that was Jordan's. Like this is Jordan's movie and I'm going to go step into it. And now I'm going to have to deal with that legacy. And it would have been like a very emotionally mature thing for him to just, and it's still as a kid's movie, obviously. Like I'm not saying that you make this into like some really reflective piece, but just like the
I
idea.
wanted it to be gritty.
Yeah, no, you don't have to
A
do
gritty origin story
Gritty
of
origin
the
story.
Monstars. Look, the last thing I want to say about Space Jam, this was really like a Lola Bunny legacy game. Like Lola Bunny cemented herself as like one of the greatest toon athletes, maybe of
And-
all time.
She's an Amazonian too.
That's, we talk about how impressive like two sport players like Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders are, but show me someone who could also be an Amazonian.
I feel bad that LeBron was in this movie, in this commercial. And I feel bad. I just feel bad. The whole thing made me feel gross. I need to go watch like a really good movie and cleanse myself of this absolute stink.
But yeah, overall Space Jam, not the best movie.
Is this outro take 2?
I don't know. I don't like movies still.
There it is. We made it back.
There it is
Yeah,
again.
the running
It's back
narrative.
to the arc.
Fucking 30 minutes just to say that.
Yeah, it's hot here. Let's wrap this up. But I think it's kind of a funny bit that we just keep talking.
All right, thanks for watching. He's been Shohei Ohtani. I'm Manny Machado, and that's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Good night.
Adios, pelota.
You want to play me in basketball?